Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Bernier, the DRF.com Formulator Race of the Day for Sunday, March the 19th is race number 8 at Santa Anita. Stakes action on the turf, 1 mile. For 3-year-olds, it's the $75,000 Pasadena Stakes. Let's take a look at the field, and remember, head on over to that Race of the Day event page on DRF.com, download those free Formulator past performances, and handicap along with us as we attack the Pasadena in post-position order. Matt, we begin with a maiden, the #1 Big Sky Logan, although he ran pretty well last time out against maidens.
I think he's got a little bit of ability. I can understand why you want to take a shot. This isn't a huge field. I know there's 10 horses, but I mean, it's not like you're running up against 14. And I suppose on paper, with the exception of Conquest Fahrenheit, nobody really lays over this field. I understand why they're taking a shot. I like him. I don't think he's good enough.
He took a step forward with the addition of Lasix, first time for Vladimir Serenin. And I'm interested if you agree with this. I think there's pace in this race. So a horse like Big Sky Logan has a puncher's chance at the very least.
I think there's a lot of pace signed on in here. It's going to be interesting. You're going to find out a lot about a lot of these horses here in this race. Whether they win or lose, going forward, you're going to be able to find out, do they need the lead? Are they best when they're on the lead? Or can they successfully rate and take advantage?
Now, one of the horses we expect to be right up on the pace is the #2, Taxman's Quest. This is an Oklahoma bred who is a perfect 2 for 2, sprinting on the dirt. Different ball game this time around. He's in the hands of a master trainer in Dick Mandela.
I don't know what to do with this horse. You look at the pedigree, there's not a ton of turf here. You made mention Euro Ears himself ran on the turf a couple of times.
Twice on the turf sprinting.
So that's something if you want to throw that in your back pocket. But from a sire standpoint, he's 0 for 11 first time turf. He's 1 for 19 with turf overall. Mandela past 5 years, first time turf, first after the trainer change, 0 for 9. I know it's a small sample size, but you look at the workouts and you look at the connections. Flavian is the go-to for Mandela. I don't know what we're going to get.
I'm very curious to see what we're going to get, because you're right. You mentioned Euro Years. The dam was unraced on the turf. This is a family of dirt horses. But Mandela could have found a 1X for this horse.
100%.
He's still eligible for an open non-winners of one other than on dirt sprinting if he wanted. He must think this horse can step on the turf. Euro Years was a freakishly fast horse. But you got to wonder, this is all about price at the end of the day. And I think it'll be a solid enough price. The 3 is Ritzy AP. This horse has run 2 good races on turf, albeit over wet tracks, but I like the heart and determination he showed last time as the chalk.
It'll be interesting to see what happens once he does catch a firm going like he's going to on Sunday afternoon. You're right, he had a little bit of moisture both times. I loved both races. I thought down the hill, he tried really hard the entire way. The most recent start, like you say, he was the favorite in there. He was supposed to get the job done. When Victor gave him a little tap on the shoulder on the far turn, he started to go. And he had to grind a little bit, but I like that he was determined and he went and he actually got the job done. I think there's a lot to like here. I also like the fact that it seems like he doesn't need the lead.
He can rate.
He can sit just off. If they line up in front of him, I think he can take advantage.
It's a beautiful pedigree, but that's what I noticed also, because stretching out, you never know. Sometimes they get a little bit headstrong, a little bit speed crazy. He sat beautifully off a very moderate pace, and then he went when Victor asked him to go. The 4 is Kentucky Colonel. This is a horse that only sold for $105,000, considering he's a half to Malibu Moon, one of the leading sires. Kentucky Colonel, you know, he won his turf debut at a mile at Del Mar. Last time out was his first time out off a break. Now, his win came in gate-to-wire fashion. It seemed last time out Mike Smith had it in his head, I'm going to teach this horse to rate. He broke. He didn't take up the traditional 2-path prompting spot behind Sistron. He got in right behind Sistron and just basically got the toe. He couldn't reel in Sistron in the lane, but all things considering, I think they tried to teach him something. It was his first start back. Now he comes from off the pace. I think he'll run better.
Second off the bench, you would think you're going to get a forward move here from Mandela and Smith. That's a good and bad thing, Mandela and Smith, because he's probably going to take a little bit more money. But at the end of the day, I mean, look, this is a horse, again, we said it at the top, with the exception of Conquest Fahrenheit, on paper, this is a wide open race. If you just believe the figs, we'll get the Fahrenheit in a little bit, but I can understand looking at this horse saying he learned something last time out. He's going to take a step forward this time around, sitting just off.
The #5 Taco, you shouldn't fool around with Taco. He's no joke so far. 4 starts, 4 wins, 5 furlongs to a mile and a 16th. He's trained by a guy who wins races everywhere. Esteban Loza, it doesn't matter where it's Tampa Bay, doesn't matter where it's in Louisiana. Taco's an interesting horse. He's a little bit slow. He's obviously facing better horses than he's ever faced. Can't knock a horse that doesn't lose.
Well, he does have to overcome the dreadful name curse, because, I mean, why would you name the horse Taco? Why would you name him Taco?
Spicy.
At the end of the day, all he does is go out and win races, which I think is a good thing. He's won going 2 turns in the past. He's won a stakes race already. I think he's a little bit slow, and he's going to get a major, major acid test. But these are the kind of horses you should never, ever discount. Horses that just go out and win races, he fits the mold. I'm still a little bit dubious.
But I think he'll be a solid enough price that even with that big winning percentage for the trainer staring you at the face, Fans in Southern California, fans across the country are going to go with what they know in Southern California. The 6 is Sistron, 2 for 2 on firm turf at a mile. Both wins on the lead. Do you think that could be problematic? Because there might be 1 or 2 in here a little faster out of the gate.
Yeah, I think he needs the lead. Thus far, he hasn't shown the ability that he can sit. And they haven't really tried. They've gotten him out there and he's just gone on with it. He's a big, good-looking horse when he's out there. I don't love his finishes, though, and I guess that's the concern. I feel like in each of his past 2, he's had pretty comfy leads out there, and he's had to battle all the way.
The wire came just in time.
Yeah, just in time. And if you want to say, okay, Kentucky Colonel's going to take a step forward, and he's going to have to face better horses and more pace pressure. It's just a lot of things I don't like.
Number 7, Monster Man, removed the blinkers last time out. Good, solid pace-pressing win. Only a 69 Beyer speed figure, however. Now he's been away. Gets Lasix off the win. That was an okay field he beat. IRAP was one of the horses he beat, and that was before he came back to run second to Mastery in the Los Al Futurity.
I think Tyler Bays won the race for that horse most recently, and I say most recently, we haven't seen him since November as a 2-year-old. He was a little keen early on, and coming out of the first turn, Tyler really wrangled him back. And I think once another horse went by, he settled in. He relaxed kindly, and then he went on. It helped also that pace setter completely blew the far turn, opened up the wood, and he shot through. I think he's a nice horse. Lasix go on. You never know. If you got a 69 as a 2-year-old, if he moves forward a little bit, he's in contender.
You and I were blown away by Conquest Fahrenheit's debut. Going 7 on yielding turf. I mean, he made mincemeat of that field, and he was a deserving favorite going into the Grade 2 summer. And it took a very promising horse in Conquest Fahrenheit to beat him. He certainly wasn't disgraced. They spent a lot of money for him, $735,000 at that Conquest dispersal in November. He came back, they tried dirt. Fine, you got a promising 3-year-old, try it.
Took a shot.
Just doesn't seem to have that spark on the dirt that he has on the turf. He came back, he handled the Baffle Stakes going down the hill last time out. Does he want to go this far?
Man, I don't know. The other thing that I didn't love about the most recent race, I get it. The figs are there. And guess what? He lays over the field on the figs. He's been a washed out mess in both of his California races. The pace scenario, now you got to go longer with other speed signed on in here. I'm not convinced that he's going to really appreciate 2 turns. He's just a horse for me. I understand if he wins, yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I don't want him at a short price.
I'm with you. You got to use him in the multis because he's way the horse to beat. His 3 figures on turf, they tower over everything else. All these other horses have ever run on the grass. We also have a very limited positive formulator fact for trainer Peter Miller on Conquest Fahrenheit. Past 5 years, last out 3-year-old winners on turf, third off the left. Positive enough, 20% for a guy that wins about 20%. $3.15 return on investment, but he could be part of the pace. Now, Zakharov's going to be sitting off of it. He got it done last time out at $1,000,000 in the Grade 3 El Camino Real Derby. And you know something? I thought he got a really clever ride that day. He did run at the end. Distance is his friend, but he's cutting back to a mile. At least he gets pace.
Yeah, I thought, all things considered, he had a very good trip in that El Camino Real. Also going into that race, that was a suspect field. We had a lot of first-time synth triers. Didn't work out for a couple of them. He's going to get the setup. The question is he good enough?
Is he good enough, and will he handle turf? All of his races have come on synth. I'm a big fan of the horse on the outside. Bird is the word. He got pace last time out. He got it done. He's going to get pace one more time. The problem is better horses this time, but the price will still be there. This horse, they were fooling around on dirt with him, and then after he ran so well in his turf debut, they ran him right back in the sham. This is what he wants to do. Don't fool around with him anymore.
I have no problem with this horse on turf. I think he was really good last time when he finally broke through. He kicked in a big way on the far turn. He looked like a winner every step, I feel like. Once Kent got into him, he extended. He can finish. He's not without a chance in here.
Let's take a look at our top picks for Sunday's formulator race of the day, the Pasadena. You like Ritzy AP again. Beautiful pedigree. This horse is a nose away from being a perfect 2 for 2.
I just like everything I've seen thus far, and really the fact that we talked about it with the pace that it looks like we have on paper, the fact that he's displayed he can sit. I think Danny Blacker's doing a good job with his limited stock. I like this horse a lot. I went 3-10, 8-7.
I'm going to give a shot to the 4 Kentucky Colonel. He just hasn't shown that explosiveness just yet. He's more of a grinding type, but I think it's been a very slow process with Mandela and Smith getting this horse to learn to rate. He's going to get some pace this time. I'd like to see him covered up in behind horses and be produced with 1 run. I'm going to give him 1 chance in here. I'm going to go 4, 8, 10, and 6 in the Pasadena Stakes. If you are playing the Sunday Santa Anita card from home, you know where to go. DRF Bets, DRF.com/trifecta, $300 sign-up bonus, easy game. Approximate post time for Sunday's formulator race of the day, the $75,000 Pasadena Stakes is at 4 o'clock Pacific. Best of luck.